For nearly 50 years, a radio transmitter in Russia has broadcast a single repeating buzz, and at moments when the Soviet state was collapsing, it went silent. The station is called UVB-76. It has never been officially explained. But the mystery is not the signal. The mystery is what the silence means, because if this transmitter is a dead man's switch, a continuous proof that command authority still functions, then its interruptions are not technical failures. They are the sound of a system losing its grip. And it is still broadcasting right now. Welcome to the Grim Archive. Tonight's file, UVB-76. Somewhere in the forests west of Moscow, the precise location has shifted over the decades. A shortwave transmitter broadcasts continuously on 4625 kilohertz. The sound it makes is distinctive, a short, mechanical buzz, roughly 25 times per minute, uninterrupted, day and night, year after year. Radio hobbyists began logging it in the late 1970s. They gave it a nickname, the buzzer. No government ever claimed it. No official statement ever explained it. It simply continued, patient, indifferent, and relentless. The frequency 4625 kHz places UVB-76 in the shortwave band used for long-distance military and government communications. Western intelligence services were almost certainly aware of it from the beginning. Amateur radio operators, called SWLs, shortwave listeners, documented it obsessively throughout the 1980s, cataloging its rhythm, measuring its tone. The buzz itself carries no encoded information that analysts have ever publicly decoded. But several times per year the buzzing stops. A voice cuts through, a call sign is read, then a string of numbers or words, then silence again. And the buzzing resumes, as if nothing happened. Numbers stations, radio transmitters that broadcast strings of digits or phonetic codes, were a standard Cold War tool for communicating with agents in the field. The agent needed only a shortwave receiver and a one-time pad. No contact with any handler, no traceable communication, plausible deniability built in. Dozens of such stations operated on both sides of the Iron Curtain. Most went dark after 1991. UVB-76 did not. But UVB-76 behaves differently from a classic numbers station. Its voice messages are rare. Its constant signal is the point. It transmits whether or not anyone is listening, and that distinction matters enormously. August 1991, the Soviet Union is in its final convulsions. Hardline Communist Party members launch a coup against Mikhail Gorbachev, placing him under house arrest at his dacha in Foros, Crimea. For 3 days, the outcome is genuinely uncertain. Tanks in Moscow, the fate of the nuclear arsenal unresolved, command structures fracturing. During those same days, UVB-76 goes silent. Not a voice message, silent. The buzzing stops entirely. Shortwave listeners who had monitored it for years noted the absence in real time. The coup fails. Gorbachev returns. And the buzzer comes back on. The coincidence was noted, then filed away. The Soviet Union formally dissolved on December 25, 1991. 15 republics became independent states. The military infrastructure of a superpower was divided, disputed, and in many cases simply abandoned. Bases went unmanned. Monitoring posts were locked and left. Funding for signals infrastructure collapsed almost overnight. UVB-76 continued broadcasting through all of it. Whatever institution owned it, and Russian authorities have never confirmed ownership, it kept someone or something responsible for keeping the transmitter running. That persistence, through the chaos of dissolution, is itself a data point. Someone considered it worth maintaining when almost nothing else was. The second silence is harder to dismiss. In the summer of 2010, UVB-76 went quiet, for an extended period, weeks rather than days. Then something stranger happened. The station began transmitting voice messages at a volume and frequency far beyond anything previously recorded. Names, numbers, apparent call signs. Enthusiasts on shortwave forums logged each one obsessively. That same period saw significant internal restructuring of Russian military command under Defense Minister Anatoly Serdyukov, a reorganization that affected command and control infrastructure. The precise relationship between the restructuring timeline and the signal changes has not been established. But the overlap was not lost on those paying attention. A dead man's switch is a system designed to act if the operator becomes incapacitated. A train driver who releases the throttle. A nuclear launch protocol that requires continuous active cancellation. The logic is simple and brutal. The default state is action. Continued operation requires continuous human input. If UVB-76 functions on this principle, then the buzzing is not a message. It is proof that the system is still alive, still manned, still connected to command authority. The silence is the message. And the message is, something has broken. The question that has never been answered is, broken how badly? Russia's nuclear command architecture includes a system known as perimeter, called dead hand in the West. Described publicly by former Soviet insiders after 1991 and examined in detail by journalists and arms control researchers, perimeter was designed to enable a retaliatory nuclear strike even if the central command structure was destroyed. It required continuous signals from the military command network to remain in a passive state. No one has confirmed a direct link between perimeter and UVB-76. That claim would be speculation, and this channel does not traffic in speculation dressed as fact. But the structural logic is identical, and the people who designed perimeter were the same people who ran the signals infrastructure that UVB-76 belongs to. In late 2010, following the extended silence and the burst of voice traffic, UVB-76 relocated. The transmitter that had broadcast from a site near Povarovo, northwest of Moscow, went off air. A new signal appeared, associated with a site near St. Petersburg. Same frequency, same buzzing tone, same call sign pattern. Relocation of a signal station is not routine. It requires planning, resources, and a decision from above. Someone chose to move it, and chose to keep it running after the move. Whatever the station is for, someone in the Russian state considered it important enough to rebuild rather than simply decommission. That is a decision, not an accident. UVB-76 is still broadcasting today. Shortwave listeners still log it. The call sign has changed over the years. MDZHB is the most recently confirmed designation, according to hobbyist monitoring records. Voice messages still occur, still uninterpreted publicly. The Russian government has never commented. The pattern of silences aligned with institutional disruption has never been officially acknowledged. What we are left with is this: a transmitter that has run for nearly 50 years, that someone keeps funding, that goes quiet at the worst moments, and that resumes as if nothing happened. Whether it is a dead man's switch, a command channel, or something else entirely, it has never stopped long enough for us to find out. The buzzer does not care whether you are listening. It never has. That indifference is the most unsettling thing about it. A signal designed not to communicate outward, but to confirm inward, to some authority we cannot see, that the chain of command is intact. Every day it transmits, it is saying, "We are still here." Every day it falls silent, it is saying something else. We have heard it go silent at least twice in the documented record. Both times the world held its breath and did not fully understand why. The next file is already transmitting. Subscribe. The archive is always open.